Don't bother, because there's a serious problem with these ghost powers. Let me explain. Like and subscribe if you're new. The concept of a ghost is many times older than the crucifixion, with some of the earliest depictions dating back to Babylonian stone tablets in 1500 BC. But what about the first ghost hero? One of the first superheroes to use the power of a specter was the Green Ghost from 1940, who was a ghost superhero with powers of phasing through solid objects and invisibility, which have now become staples of the ghost superpower archetype. And he might be the grandfather of some of these problems as well. Let's use Ben 10 to make my point. Now, Ben has Ghost Freak, a very popular ghost-themed alien with the run-of-the-mill ghost powers. However, in Ghost Freaked Out is where all of his problems start to show, because not only does this ghost DNA sample start to traumatize Ben with nightmares and even taking away his autonomy, he actually ends up becoming the first alien to have his own independence, and once he's free, everything changes. He exits the Omnitrix and becomes many times more powerful, bearing sharp claws, regaining thousands of years of experience, and also a brand new ability of body possession that Ben didn't have while he was Ghost Freak. It seems like he's now the most overpowered thing on the face of the earth, but you're wrong because of this.
How you like being trapped inside someone else?
He's afraid of the sun, and no amount of sunscreen can fix that. This moment could be considered the birth of the trope of ghost weaknesses. It continues to get worse as the very same Ghost Freak ascends to higher heights when he gets access to his full potential. Once he's in space and shrouded in complete darkness, he gains a maximum output, larger size, sharper claws, and a purple poltergeist plasma beam that could blow a hole through Clark Kent. Probably. Ben has to literally put down a 2016 LeBron James performance just to survive this encounter. But after reaching his absolute peak, do you know how Ghost Freak ended up after this? Under a light bulb in a dark room. Yeah man, I don't know what to tell you. If you're not convinced of this, let me jump to a ghost over at Nickelodeon to give you more problems. Danny Phantom, or Danny Fenton, is a kid who was just 14 when his parents built a very strange machine. It was designed to see a world unseen. Great cartoon. Anyways, he's a kid who went into an experimental ghost portal known as the Fenton Portal, which gave him his ghost powers and made him half ghost. I never watched the show much as a kid because I didn't have the channel, but he gained the typical ghost themed powers, intangible phasing, and some ghost blast projectiles. He seems to be pretty well rounded if you ask me. He spends his time as the near undefeated ghost hunter in his town and has taken on and defeated his future self, who has fused with his arch nemesis. This fusion, by the way, is called Dark Danny, who has more destructive combat powers than Danny, like cloning the ghostly whale that has shattered buildings and ghost constructs. And Danny beat him, and I've never heard of an MC soloing their future self, so props to Danny. He'd probably be a perfect user of ghost powers if it wasn't for this thing. What is this, you may ask? This is a thermos. If you don't know what that is, it's a jar that keeps hot or cold liquids for an extended period of time. Oh, and this specialized one can capture ghosts. Okay, here's a clip to prove what I'm saying. So, Danny, after being the premier ghost power user, is weak to a thermos in his ghost form. That sounds like absolute shit. But luckily, there aren't any thermoses in Dandadan, so let's hop into that show and talk about the ghost powers there. Now, Dandadan follows an interesting duo of Okarun and Momo Ayase, who start out their journey by proving the existence of aliens and ghosts respectively. Now, spoilers if you haven't watched the show, but both end up being right. But let's just zone in on Okarun's experience. He encounters a spirit named Turbo Granny. It's based off of a real spirit who originated as a popular Japanese urban legend that is supposedly near highways of Mount Roko in Hyogo Prefecture. She's famed for chasing nighttime drivers, slamming into cars, and causing massive accidents. But in the show, she's a creepy old lady who curses you if she's faster than you. And unless your name is Aisho Speed, you're probably gonna be very cooked. Her curse is a more unconventional type of ghost power that basically turns the cursed into another version of her. But when that element of the curse is suppressed by a psychic, the user can get to use the Turbo Granny power with their own autonomy. So they can abuse the lightning speed reflexes and the Formula 1 car speed. This super speed is huge for Okarun, and it is what enables him to take on the other supernatural creatures in the show. However, one of the most important fights comes from episode 9, Merge Serpo Derpo Demon Nessie. Yep, episode opens up with the three of them fighting 3 aliens. Is that a Ben 10 reference? And a water serpent in an enclosed area. Okarun uses his incredible speed to evade the attacks of an amped up mantis shrimp alien. Now, since the beginning of the show, we can see that his speed has been critically important for every fight. But a major thing comes into play that no one saw coming. You mean to tell me that you're reacting to punches the cameraman can't see, outrunning bullet trains, but you can't swim? Reminds me of a certain blue hedgehog who also can't swim. So it's a pretty stupid weakness to have the aquatic abilities of a brick be your #1 weakness. Speaking of blue though, in Adventure Time, we have a very powerful ghost-adjacent villain, which is the Lich, the ambassador of death itself and the most evil being in the land of Ooo. Now, he doesn't have the typical flight or intangibility, but he has a sort of necromancy power with a psychic control he gets from looking into your eyes. His first appearance was in Season 2 in the episodes Mortal Recoil and Mortal Folly. He emerges and is challenged by the 2 heroes, Finn and Jake, who aren't just the rookie goats of the land of Ooo, but they are equipped with a gauntlet that is fit for destroying the Lich. Now, the Lich fortified his area with undead soldiers and was going to nuke the land of Ooo with his forbidden bubble bath. Yuck, it's green. But Finn and Jake end up getting the jump on him and get the shock of a lifetime when he shatters the gauntlet that was their win condition. Now, it all seems pretty cooked as he starts to mind control the main character to take a dip in the supernatural jacuzzi. But his legendary power is stopped by a sweater?
I've got a sweater on!
Knitted with love. Alright, I've suspended my disbelief, but what happens next is what blows me away. That same sweater is what he uses to take down this near immortal necromancer. Like, this is the same guy who got rid of all of the dinosaurs during the Cretaceous period. He's also the same guy who has successfully ended all life in the universe and lives in an alternate dimension by himself with what was BMO. This seems like a pretty ridiculous weakness, or better yet, a list of ridiculous weaknesses across the board. And that's the problem with ghost powers, which is the trade-off. What you gain when you are a ghost is amazing for combat to the peak levels, especially the ability to control another person, whether through possession or psychically. However, what you lose is too much, as it makes the High Ectolord the greatest ghost hunter and the Priest of Death all weak to common household items. And don't get me started on the fact that Okarun's power are completely nullified if he goes to the beach. So it creates a problem where all of these near deity level ghost power users have to worry about something that is very accessible to even the average Joe. Like, come on, if I pull away these curtains, you really are going to die? Anyways, that's just my thoughts on the problems with ghost powers. Comment down below any superpower that you'd like to see me do next, and thank you for watching. The Omnitrix exposes alien technology. Of course, it's one of the most unique devices in all of fiction, but what it reveals about everything else is truly special.